If you're new to golf, then scoring can seem kind of confusing, but don't worry because in this video, I'm going to share with you everything you need to know so that you can score yourself properly your first time out. Stick around to the end of the video because I'm going to share with you one special tip that my grandfather taught me to make sure that you never get confused when you're scoring in the game of golf. What's going on, everybody? This is Jake with Rough Golf, and if you're new to golf or you're looking to better your game and to do so affordably, then click that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my future content. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about scoring in golf. Now, this is the stroke play style of scoring. This is your basic everyday style of golf that you are going to play. So before we get into it, there's a few terms that you need to understand because I'm going to reference them through the video. And it really starts with par, okay? And what par is the standard amount of strokes it would take a scratch golfer or zero handicap golfer to complete the hole. So for example, if you have a par 4, let's say hole number 1 is a par 4, it takes 4 total strokes from the tee box to the green for a scratch golfer to complete that hole, okay? Some people will do it in fewer strokes, pro golfers. Some people will do it in more strokes, average golfers, much like a rough golfer. You're looking at them. So now we've talked about what par is. We're going to talk about birdies, okay? That is 1 stroke under par. So if we take that same hole, that same par 4 hole, and we have a player that makes it in 3 total strokes from tee to green, he just made a birdie, all right? If we go one step further, we're going to take it and go to an eagle, all right? Now, an eagle is in a par 5, okay? Now, on a par 5, it takes 5 strokes for that scratch golfer, that zero handicap golfer, to make it from tee to green. For a professional golfer, he may make it in 3 strokes. That's not a birdie because par 5 means 5 total strokes to make it, but he makes it in 3. That is called an eagle. And we're going to go one step further, and these are very, very rare, hence the name albatross. Now, an albatross can only occur on a par 5, and that's basically where that player would make the ball in the hole from tee to green in just 2 strokes. It's ridiculous and it's super cool to see. I've not seen one in person, but I've watched a bunch of highlight reels and it's awesome. Typically what happens is they make a killer drive, then they take a 3-wood and somehow get that ball into the hole. It's awesome to watch. Not many people have albatrosses on the record. I don't have one yet, but I'm still fighting for one. Now, going the opposite way, because those would be fewer strokes than par, now we're going to go more strokes than par, okay? We're talking about bogeys, double bogeys, triple bogeys, and that's really it. Bogey is just over par, and then if you make 2 or 3 strokes, let's say you got a par 4 again, and let's say you make it in 6 strokes, that's going to be a double bogey, okay? Now there's one other term you may hear golfers refer to when they're talking about their score. Let's take that same par 4 hole that you're playing, okay? And let's say you make a 5, all right? So you did 5 strokes from tee to green, and that's what you came up with. Some people will say, I'm +1 on that hole. So you're +1, and plus is synonymous with over. So you're +1 or 1 over par, okay? The opposite would be, let's say you made a birdie on that hole and you made it in 3 strokes on a par 4. You are now minus or under, okay? Minus is synonymous with under. You're under or minus 1 stroke from par. So some golfers will say, hey, what did you get on that hole? Oh, I'm +1. So that guy on a par 4 got a bogey. Others will say, oh, I'm -1. That guy on a par 4 got a birdie. You with me? Cool. Now, how to actually count those strokes to determine what you're going to get when you finish the hole. When you start out on the first hole, you're at 0 strokes, 0 swings, okay? That's a good way to think about it. Once you make a swing and send the ball out into the field of play, that counts as 1 stroke. So when you get into the fairway, you've made 1 stroke, and now you're about to make your 2nd stroke. So you take a 2nd swing and send the ball further down the fairway, all right? Now you've made your 2nd stroke, and you're about to make your 3rd stroke. So now you make your 3rd stroke and it lands on the green, okay? So now you're on the green after having made 3 swing attempts or 3 strokes. So your score is now 3. Now let's say you putt the ball and make it in the hole. Congratulations, you just made par on that par 4. But you made 4 total strokes on that hole. So that means you made par. If you had made 5 strokes or swings to get the ball into the hole, then you've just made a bogey. And then if you made only 3 strokes to get the ball from the tee into the hole, you've now made a birdie. And that's a very simple way of scoring in golf. Now, I'm not going to talk about a ton of penalty strokes and things like that in this video. I'll save that for another video, but I want to talk about one thing that you may encounter as a beginner golfer off of the tee box, and that's a hit out of bounds. Okay, so let's say you're standing on the tee, you make your first shot, all right, one stroke, and the ball goes out of bounds. Okay, now you have to take a penalty stroke because you hit the ball out of bounds. So you've made one stroke which went out of bounds, you take another penalty stroke, okay, and then you make a third stroke, which is the new ball that you're playing and putting back into bounds. Okay, so you're on the tee box, you hit the ball, it goes out of bounds, you tee the ball back up on the tee box, you hit another one, and that is the ball that you're going to be playing. So when you get to that ball out in the fairway or the rough or wherever it's landed, you have now made 3 total strokes because you had to take that penalty stroke for going out of bounds. Okay, so you're not in the fairway with 2, you're actually in the fairway with 3. So going out of bounds can really hurt your score. But as a beginner golfer, don't worry about that. You're just learning the game. Happens to all of us, still happens to professionals even. Okay, people who've played the game forever, still happens. It will happen to you. But knowing how to score properly means that you'll be prepared when it does happen to you. All right, now for this special tip. All right, this tip my grandfather taught me. It's a simple saying to help you remember where you are in the scoring process. Okay, so we know that when we start on the tee box, we are at a score of 0 because we've made 0 strokes. All right, and this occurs for every hole, and then you add your score up at the end of the 9 holes and then at the end of the 18 holes collectively. But for every hole, you always start with 0 strokes. Okay, I'm on the tee box, I make my first hit. Okay, now I'm out in the fairway and I've made 1 stroke. A very simple saying to remember where you're at is this: I'm sitting 1, hitting 2. That is a very simple saying to make sure that you never get confused. And I would say that to myself if I lose track of score because maybe I had a frustrating shot or something like that. I know that, okay, I made 2 strokes to get here, so I'm sitting 2. My current score is 2 strokes, and I'm hitting my 3rd shot, which has not been completed yet, so I'm still at 2 strokes. The second I complete that shot, I'm now at 3 strokes for the total hole. So don't forget that saying, I'm sitting and hitting. It's super simple to remember. It's very catchy, it rhymes, and you'll never ever forget it. Guys, if you like this video, then check out this playlist right here. It's all about how to get started in the game of golf. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, keep on swinging.